Hello, friends and feral children of the interwebs. I have endless good things to say about the gym. It is incredible for mental and physical health and has numerous benefits for our well being as men. But what I see today in current gym culture, Instagram culture, and whatnot, I believe to be absolutely toxic and actually undermines the benefits of going to the gym. And it isn't that the gym itself is bad, that's not the case. But like all things, it's the distortion of the good that leads to a negative outcome. And so I have 4 points I want to hit on today to highlight these dysfunctions that I see happening mentally and emotionally and transformatively with young men who are embracing the physique culture or the gym culture and all that goes into it. Number one, our purpose in life as men is service. The purpose of our life is to serve other people. The problem with the manosphere and all these other pseudo masculinities is that they're all about the self. It's bettering yourself for yourself with the end to kind of gratify yourself with women and luxury items and all of this other nonsense. Whereas a life of service for a man is about finding a wife, loving and cultivating her, having a family, having as many children as God gives you, and devoting yourself to their service. Now, the gym can absolutely help with that in numerous ways. But if you start out with the idea that the gym is all about me and it's all for me and it's all about my looks and the externals, very little of the cultivation that can happen through this positive experience actually happens. In fact, the person becomes distorted because they're not looking for ways in which they can build camaraderie, have a fellowship with other men, be physically fit so that they can serve other people. They're looking at all of these things as a way of feeding into their narcissism. Now, narcissism, the term, comes from the ancient Greek philosophy, or a story, tale, I should say, of Narcissus. And Narcissus was an exceedingly good looking young man, and he ended up gazing into a pool one day, and he saw his own reflection and became so enamored with himself that he actually withered away and starved and died. Narcissism is the idea of looking at oneself and objectifying one's own body. In fact, when you go to an Orthodox monastery, one of the things that will stand out to you is there's no mirrors. People don't look at themselves. In fact, I find this very funny in the gym culture because I'm used to a garage gym. There's no mirrors. I had to go work out somewhere not that long ago, and they had mirrors. And I was sitting there lifting weights, looking at myself, and I thought, this is so bizarre. You're spending all this time gazing at yourself, looking at yourself, to the point where I was like, I can't look at the mirrors because it's weird. It's objectifying yourself. And this narcissism ends up kind of creeping into all kinds of strange obsessions in your life, like food and calorie counting, but not in a way where it's a generalized calorie counting, but in the way that it's down to the gram, where people are weighing their food and worried about breaking their macros, and an obsessiveness that is so self-consuming that they end up developing weird proclivities about food. This isn't normal. When you have a family and your wife cooks and she puts it on the table, you eat whatever's there. When you have children and they bake cookies, you eat the cookies. Like, this idea that every single meal has to be perfectly formulated to get the most gains out of it just breeds a kind of narcissism and neuroticism where you're worried about things that don't really matter. Like, it is the obsession with things that aren't important. This also then obviously goes into looks, where people are sitting there looking at themselves in the mirror for prolonged periods of time, flexing, getting the right lighting, taking photos for Instagram so that they can show it to other dudes. I mean, bodybuilding is getting a tan and oiling up and standing on stage in a bikini for all other men. That's weird. Like, in and of itself, that is a weird hobby. That's not normal. Like, normal men don't do that. You have to have a bit of self-obsession to do that type of behavior where you're so enamored with yourself and you want to show off to other men what you've accomplished. It just becomes twisted and distorted because everything becomes about the self. It's all about the self. It's all self-love. Hello, friends. Thank you for all the love that you guys have shown the channel. I've started a school group where I have additional course material. We have a long-form course on marriage, one on dating. We have Q&As weekly, and then other interviews and projects that I've been working on. I hope you enjoy that, and sign up at school.com/Father Moses. God bless. And the Holy Fathers speak extensively about this. Self-love is a form of egotism. It places me at the center of the universe. And the reality is, in the right sense of the universe, I'm not trying to put myself at the top of the pyramid. I'm not trying to be better than everybody. I'm trying to put myself at the bottom of the pyramid. I'm trying to be a servant to everyone. And the center of my life should never be myself. The center of my life should always be Christ and doing his will and accomplishing the things that he set out for me. And all of my strengths and my gifts should be utilized to hold up the people around me, my wife, my children, my parish community, the spiritual children under my care. Those are the reasons that we build both mental and physical fortitude so that we can help other people, not so that we can differentiate ourselves as being so much better than everyone else. And that's the egotism. When people accomplish things, and this happens in all kinds of different gym cultures, they start to think that they're better than other people. We're not better than other people for any reasons, period. Whether it's looks or intelligence or muscles or strength accomplishments, we're all created in the image of God. All of our intrinsic value and worth, which is limitless, comes from the fact that we are created in God's image and we are his children. That's where we find our meaning and purpose. Because if we find our meaning and purpose because we can bench 400 pounds or because we have a 30-inch waist and we have a 40-inch chest or whatever, and all of these things, it takes all of the grounding of where I should be finding my meaning and purpose and definition of who I am as a man and puts it on myself. And this is why people who define themselves by money, for instance, are always chasing after more money because they want a definition of themselves that stands out from everyone else. Or somebody who's intelligent views themselves as being smart, and so they differentiate themselves by being obnoxious and rude to people that they don't think are as intelligent as them because they're more intelligent. But their intelligence or their money or their muscles, whatever, only serves themselves. It isn't for other people. And as long as a man is chasing after meaning and purpose and fulfillment in life by serving himself, he will always be empty. He will always feel hollow as a man. He will never reach fruition of what he is called to be, and he will never find contentment. Contentment, meaning, purpose, fulfillment is found in serving other people, not in serving and loving ourselves and feeding our egos. Next, lust. The problem with staring a lot at oneself is that you begin to objectify yourself. You don't see yourself for who you are. Our souls have limitless value because we can contain God within them. The Holy Spirit can come and dwell within us. We can become a temple of the Most High. This is where we find real meaning and purpose and identification. But when we just look at ourselves externally all the time, we end up with a sort of objectification. And when people feed into that objectification, they start objectifying women. And they begin to see women in a light that is not really who they are or their gifts, their personality, the way that they're creating the image of God, that they can be God bearers themselves. You begin to see women as just being objects. So when somebody objectifies themselves, inadvertently, they start objectifying other people. And when they objectify other people, that leads to lust because it dehumanizes the person. It makes them just a body, just a shell, not a person. When you really love and care for people, you don't want to have lustful thoughts about them because you understand that's a perversion. And you care about them for who they are, not for their body type or what they can give to you sexually. That objectification and lust dehumanizes. It turns the person and the people around them more into animals than into being the royal image bearers that we are. And last but not least, because so many guys fall into this trap, it's unrealistic. When you see somebody who is lifting huge weights, who's sub 10% body fat, or completely vascular and all these other things, there's two factors. Number one is genetics. They're complete genetic outliers. And number two is they're on a lot of steroids. And those steroids are destroying their bodies. Now, I'm not talking about somebody who's on a normal dose of TRT because they have low testosterone as they get older. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people who are destroying their endocrine systems in their late teens and into their 20s and taking large amounts of gear that destroy the kidneys, that destroy their heart, that decimate their blood pressure. Their blood work is terrible. So they create this like shiny car that looks perfect on the inside, and then when you lift up the hood, it has a 4-liter engine in it. It has a four-banger. It's a little tiny underpowered engine because there's no substance there. And people chase after what other people have been given genetically by taking more and more doses, and they never reach that level because they simply don't have the genetics for it. But in the process, they end up destroying their life. And so many people destroy their relationships with other people by abusing these substances because it makes them emotionally volatile, unstable. It can make them anxious. It creates a tremendous mental unhealthiness within the person, all to acquire a type of body that they probably are never going to get to in the hopes of attracting attention from other men. Like the whole culture is so broken that it's not that there isn't anything good in it, because the discipline is good. The courage to go to the gym over and over is good. The physicality is a better way of spending your time than sitting around. Like there are real positive features of gym culture. But if you're tapping into all of these things, no matter how you build your body, your soul is going to be completely broken. And so man first has to understand that the soul is created to rule over the body, not the body over the soul. We need to enlarge our spiritual hearts, not just try to enlarge our physical hearts. We need to build a deep internal relationship with Christ. We need to develop an understanding of life that I will find fulfillment from serving other people, not from serving myself, and that the things that I do should be to the glory of God and the service of other people. When I get sidetracked on this nonsense, it leaves people very mentally distorted and broken and unable to have healthy relationships because they're simply too obsessed with themselves and they miss the meaning and purpose of life. I pray that you use all of the good things of the gym and discard all of the ways this world is trying to distort it to find meaning and purpose and value, which only comes from knowing Jesus Christ. God bless.